Erie News Now's election coverage, you can count on it tonight. Republican candidate Dr. Mehmet Oz and Democratic candidate Lieutenant Governor John Fetterman will duke it out finally in a debate.
Yeah, it is their first and only debate of this season, and our Pennsylvania State Capitol correspondent Brendan Scanlon is joined by Erie News Now DC correspondent Rachel Knapp. They are live together at the debate headquarters in Harrisburg. Brendan, Rachel, good evening. Tell us a little bit about what we can expect tonight from this debate.
Mike and Eva, good evening from Harrisburg. Yeah, we're about 2 hours away from the highly anticipated debate, and we're also 2 weeks away from Election Day. Rachel, we've heard a lot of talk about a red wave coming for these midterm elections. Recent polls show a very close race. What's at stake here, really, for both parties in Washington, D.C. when you talk about the party that will hold a majority in the Senate?
Sure, yeah. Brendan, you said it just right. This debate is really important, and the polls are showing the two just kind of inching closer and closer to each other. But as far as the power goes in the Senate, as people know, right now it's divided 50-50, 50 Republicans, 50 Democrats, with Vice President Kamala Harris being the tie-breaking vote for the Democrats. So really just kind of every seat counts. And right now, the Republicans are going to try to hold on to Senator Pat Toomey's Republican seat right now in the Senate. But, some people are really going to try to flip this seat blue. So, of course, this is a really important debate. This is an important seat within the Senate. But, of course, this debate is also important to maybe reach some of those voters who each candidate is just trying to get, those independent and undecided voters.
Yeah, great point, Rachel. And when you talk about independent voters, Pennsylvania is actually home to over 1 million registered independent voters who were unable to vote in the spring primary election, who will be voting in the general election, many of them either at the polls or by mail. So I think we'll see a lot of voters who are not aligned with either major party showing up to vote in this November 8th general election. And a lot of them may, Rachel, as you said, be undecided and are looking at this debate to make up their minds, again, as they vote by mail or at the polls on November 8th. And speaking of votes by mail, according to the Department of State today, there have been over 1.3 million requests for absentee and mail-in ballots. Over 600,000 have already been returned. More coverage coming up on Erie News Now later this evening. Mike and Eva will send it back to you in the studio.